So they're rounding up teenagers and moms and kids. They're throwing them in solitary confinement for some time. They're being held in solitary because of corona and other bullcrap. And they're really trying very hard to build the biggest, nastiest cases possible. What is the progress on this overall sedition case and this whole big insurrection thing that they're clearly, and then let's talk about Biden's speech as well, that they're clearly using as the foundation for all of the de-Trumpification efforts that they wanted to do before January 6th even happened. This is why I was so upset about January 6th. All January 6th did is just give them free reign to do the things that they wanted to do. They were searching for justification. January 6th handed them the justification, and now they're going to go ape. So tell me, what does the case look like? Are they moving forward? Does it have legs? Are they going to drag people out even if they don't have a real case? What's going to happen?
Well, they keep arresting people. I get alerts almost every day of new people who have been arrested and charged with really the same repeat offenses that we keep seeing. My opinion, Jack, is that they are going to try to drag this out into 2022, much like the Mueller probe. This will be sort of the redux of Robert Mueller. They're going to drag this into 2022. They're going to hold these people. They're going to tie these people to whoever is running, especially any senators who objected to the Electoral College results that day. And they're just going to drag this out, as you said, to de-Trumpify the party, to, I think, intimidate people from attending any political rallies at all, let alone a Trump rally if he starts those up again. So this is just going to be weaponized. But the thing is, they've overloaded the DC judicial system so much that these trials are being delayed for months and months. Some people cannot even get a public defender. They're actually bringing public defenders in from other states to represent people who either can't find or can't afford their own attorney. A lot of these people aren't wealthy at all. They're, just working class Americans or farmers or whoever. And so they actually are having to bring attorneys in from other states to help defend these people as their trials just drag on and on. But we're starting to see more hearings this week. I've covered a few of them, including the two men who were charged with using bear spray that wasn't bear spray against Officer Sicknick. There was a hearing on that this week, too. They are being held, denied bail, also in solitary confinement in Washington, D.C.
I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a prosecutor, I'm not a cop, but I have to think that the standards for being held pretrial in solitary confinement should be pretty high, right? Mm-hmm. This doesn't seem to meet that threshold. Are you familiar with legal threshold for something like that?
Well, I'm learning. I'm not an attorney either, which I think actually helps me in a way because I try to dumb it down to my level.
Right.
So, but yes, the threshold is often very high, but what federal judges are signing off on, and what government lawyers are arguing in court, is that because these people doubt the outcome of the 2020 election, they don't accept Joe Biden as the legitimately elected president, they will not follow the laws of the U.S. government. You had a judge actually say early on to this defendant, another one just charged with trespassing. He wasn't even charged with a violent crime. He's the Cowboys for Trump guy. He's the first person that I wrote about. He never even entered the Capitol building. He was far outside of the Capitol in a restricted area. And one judge said, well, if you don't believe in this, of course, he's not president yet, right? This is back in January. If you didn't believe that he was the legitimately elected president, you're not going to follow me follow what I say because I'm part of this system too. You see this being said over and over by federal judges. They actually are overturning judges' rulings in the original jurisdiction, the state where these people detainees are actually first arrested. They're being let go on home detention or whatever. The federal judge, U.S. district judges, overrule that with the help of the government, and then they are denied bail and they're kept in jail. And a lot of them, like I said, have been transported to Washington, D.C. So now it's a thought crime. So the thought crime is you don't think that the 2020 election was on the up and up. You don't accept that Joe Biden was legitimately elected. Therefore, you don't believe in any of the laws of the United States government. It's just insane to see this coming out of people's mouths.
It is insane. It's terrifying. And I'll admit that for some reason, there's a part of me that is still optimistic. I'm still not as black-hearted and cynical as I probably should be. So when I hear about judges overreaching and saying these crazy things, it still surprises me, even though it probably shouldn't at this point.
Right.
I wonder if I'm ever going to let go of that feeling of being surprised by some of this nonsense as it comes down the pipe, even though it's totally predictable and fits in with the model and is exactly on trend and doesn't seem to be changing in any way whatsoever. And when I see the energy that they're putting into this, the billboards and the bus stop advertisements and the commercials and the constant stream of people's face, have you seen this person? Have you seen that person? I mean, at some point, I feel like somebody is just on the left is just going to have to say, like, well, hold up, guys, we can't just kill everybody, right? Like it feels like this thing is headed in that direction where like our health and well-being is legitimately going to be at the mercy of somebody on the left putting the brakes on. So that's a pretty bad strategy. Mercy, expecting mercy from your enemies as your strategy is a bad strategy. That's kind of where we are right now.
It certainly is. And Jack, to what you're saying, not one Republican lawmaker, senator, a few congressmen spoke up in a House Intelligence Committee meeting, but no Republican senator has said anything about these political prisoners being held hostage by their own government. But two Democratic senators have said something. Elizabeth Warren and Dick Durbin both have spoken up with their concern that these people are being held without bail in DC jails. They are the only two who have said anything, shockingly. But like you said, waiting for anyone on the left to say something is one thing. Waiting for anyone on the right in the Republican Party, now that it's well known that people are being held without bail, not meeting any sort of high threshold, and the comments that are being made by judges and prosecutors, to hear this deafening silence from Republicans is just infuriating.
It is. We have to stop playing this game. I mean, I'm in my mind, I'm thinking about these 13 and 15-year-old girls that carjacked a guy and killed him here in D.C. just a few weeks ago. And that kind of crime is being dismissed practically. Whereas walking through the door and being in the wrong place at the wrong time and disrupting a proceeding is something worthy of full extent of the, beyond the full prosecution of the law. Like, let's go. They're way overshooting with that, but they're not going to stop, and no one's there to slow them down. And even the judges are on board with it. And no one's really standing up and defending these people. You're one of them, which is why I wanted to talk to you, to get these names out there, to get these stories out there so that people can be equipped to understand and interpret reality. So part of this exercise is just so that people get prepared for what's coming in 2021, 22, 23, 24. This is the defining moment for sort of it defines the platform from which all this other stuff is going to jump off of. These are armed insurrectionists, the most deadly attack on democracy since the Civil War. Like, did he really say that? And then in the same speech, terror, all these bad, terrible guys, terror, 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 terror. And of course, the most lethal threat we face in America at home today, white supremacy, is terrorism. This is what Joe Biden said. Now, we know, of course, how they define white supremacy. White supremacy is defined as basically all the great things about America. Being on time, being hardworking, being objective, believing in individualism, believing in pulling yourself up by the bootstraps, believing in hard work and dedication and data and science. These things are all white supremacy culture. Therefore, all the things that we love about America are now considered terrorism by our own president. I wish I was making this stuff up, Julie. I wish that I didn't feel like some scumbag conspiracy theorist when I'm simply repeating back to them the words that they're using in their own literature and in front of a joint session of Congress when addressing the nation with a carefully crafted speech that was intended to be read and parsed and put away in the history books.